Hey, what's up? I'm Josh. I've spent the last 8 years reviewing over 500 audio products. Here's all the ones that I recommend under $200. And I think Prime Day is going to be going on when this video actually gets released, so make sure you check for updated pricing. Anything below the price that I list in this video, I think would be an absolute steal for these products. There are a couple products that I reviewed in the past year that I think actually really blew me away, and one of them is the FIO FT1 closed-back headphone. These are about 165 bucks, and the performance you get, the build quality and comfort you get for that price is actually mind-blowing. And it's surprisingly one of the best closed-back headphones at any price, and it has measurements to back it up to show just how good it really is. In the open back space, there's a couple that are just super hard to beat for main recommendations. One of them is the HD6XX. That's a staple. Right now it's right at $200. Usually it drops down to $180 for sales. We'll see if it does. If you don't want the 6XX or you'd prefer to buy from Amazon and not drop, there is the HD560S, which is also really good, and that's only about $180. Both of those for music, I can highly recommend. They are awesome. If you're on a real tight budget, the product that hasn't been beaten for me yet is the SHP 9600. They're only about $70, and I'm not aware of a better $70 open back headphone. I haven't been able to find one. If you have any recommendations, leave them in the comments below, but for under $100 open back, that's probably my recommend. Another really good budget close back is actually the AKG K361. Make sure you get the K361 and not the K371. You would think because the model number is a bit higher, it'd be a little bit better, but that's not the case. The K361 is the one to get. It's incredibly good. The only sacrifice with it is going to be comfort and build quality. It's mostly plastic. It's not super comfortable, but if you're just after sound quality, especially if you're looking for a reference sound, it absolutely nails it. And it's cheap at only $112. Now, the headphone that I personally use the most in this price range, under $200, is actually the PC38X. I have the yellow version, but the black EPOS version is exactly the same headphone. It's just been rebranded and a different color shift, but it's the same headphone. They're surprisingly good for music, but it's also an incredible gaming headphone, and it's really comfortable. It's actually one of my favorite all-time headphones at any price. Now for amplifiers, I only have 4 recommendations, and I think they cover all categories and would be 100% what I would recommend. Continuing with the gaming theme of the PC38X and pairing very nicely with it is the K7 from Fosse. I just reviewed this. This is an absolute killer, super unique amplifier. It has tons of features, including EQ and a really nice DAC inside of it. It's got a balanced output for hi-fi headphones and matching 3.5mm microphone inputs and headphone outputs for gaming headphones, and you can listen to both at the same time if you want to. It's a really incredible device. I would highly recommend watching that review. I'll link that down below. It's an insane deal for $200 because nothing, even at higher price, does everything that does. So it's very unique. And actually, I just checked, it's actually gone down in price since I reviewed it to $180. So pretty good deal so far. That's probably the thing that's on my desk the most right now. If you don't care about gaming and you just care about audiophile performance for solid state and a tube amplifier and a kind of an in-between, these are my 3 recommendations. If you're just looking for a solid state, in my opinion, the DX3 Pro Plus just hasn't been beat. It's got a super clear solid state sound, really good dynamics, incredible measurements, tons of features like remote control and Bluetooth. It's just got a lot of stuff, but most importantly, it's got a super clean solid state sound that actually sounds a lot like their higher end amps, but without the higher end amp price. And that sits right at $200. If you're interested in a tube, honestly, my favorite tube amplifier right now, under $500, is actually only $120, and it's the Opos Gremlin. Now, there's a caveat to this. It requires balanced inputs. There are no RCA inputs into this amplifier. That is the one and only downside, is you need a balanced DAC to put into the amplifier, and it's just an amp. One of the benefits of the DX3 Pro Plus is that it's a DAC amp, but it's very good. But the Opos Gremlin is just an amplifier. It's a very good tube amplifier, and you save a little bit of budget for the balanced DAC you might need. But yeah, Opos Gremlin is phenomenal. It's one of my favorite sounding tube amplifiers at that price. Now this year, I actually really got surprised with something called a niche piety, which is a play and a collaboration with Shit on their Magni. Now, Niche takes the Magni and kind of manipulates it to produce a couple audio effects that are very good, including better bass, a little bit warmer mid-range performance, and a more tube sound, but with all of the benefits of a solid state. So no noise floor, incredible dynamics, tons and tons of power. That's another review I would highly recommend watching. Not enough people watch that, but they absolutely should. Now these are only $180, but they are incredible little amps. But you have to wait for them to be in stock, so definitely keep an eye out. I think right now they're currently out of stock, but it is worth the wait. They're super, super good. Now for IEMs, to be completely honest with you, it's dealer's choice, man. There are so many good IEMs. It used to be like 5 years ago that there was only a couple really good IEMs under $100. It was mostly Moondrop, but now it's like tons and tons and tons of brands have sub $100 IEMs, and they all perform just really, really well. And by me picking even the top 10, it becomes like muddy water at that point because they're all super, super good. And more importantly, they're going to be better for certain individuals over others, depending on just which one you're talking about. I do have 3 main recommendations just because I've been using them personally a fair bit, but it's by no means an exhaustive list. And there are tons of really good IEMs out there for you to pick from. I just picked off of mostly comfort or features. Now, if you find me in the gym or traveling, I am using AirPod Pros 2. That's just what I'm going to be using. They have a really good sound for what they are, but they're mostly just a feature-packed monster set of wireless earbuds. And we all know what they're capable of at this point, but I still, to this day, recommend them, and I don't think they've been replaced for me for anything else. But I'm also a dirty iPhone user, so that may play a part, but that's what I've been using. The next 2 I think are some of the most comfortable, and I think comfort for IEM specifically plays a huge part in how likely I am to actually use it. They can sound as good as you want, but I really think that comfort plays a very important factor in the usability of something. So I look for something really comfortable. There's 2 IEMs that I would recommend right now based off their comfort. It's the IE200, and you're going to see the IE300 on screen, but the current version that I would personally recommend is the IE200, but I don't have footage of it yet. Those sit right at $130. They are super lightweight, kind of to the point where they feel a little bit cheap, but the sound quality and the comfort just paired together is just a complete winning match. And another one, including the looks, in my opinion, it's one of the most attractive IEMs right now, and it's one of the most comfortable, is the Meze Alba. Now this one takes a little bit of a hit for sound quality. I actually prefer the IE200 sound, but I have to admit that the looks are a really killer addition to the Alba. They're super good, but those do come in a little bit more at about $160. Now, I also want to recommend a couple of audio accessories and strange, unique audio products. Okay, first up is the Sound Burger. Weird name, weird product actually. It is a mobile record player. It just plays vinyls. It's got this really cool like pop-up sandwich thing, which I think gives it that kind of burger name. And yeah, this is just a super weird product. It's a little pricey for what it is, to be honest. It sits right at about $200. But it's very, very unique. And if you have a need for something like this, like a lightweight backpackable record player that you can take with you, and then you can plug the output up to a pair of speakers or a pair of headphones or an amplifier, it's definitely super weird and super niche, but I wanted to include it just because it's so strange, and I think a lot of people might actually like it because of its weird uniqueness. Now, if you're interested in headphone stands, there's a lot of really, really, really cheap ones, but I have a couple recommendations for which one you pick, and it mostly just comes down to form factor. See, this stand right here, it's made of metal on both sides. It's going to be pretty reliable overall, but it makes a critical error. It's not really heavy, which is going to make it a little bit more susceptible to tipping, which is my main concern, to be honest. But the biggest issue with this is that the base for it is just super slim. You want a wide base in all directions. That's the only requirement I have for a good, cheap headphone stand. Just make sure that the base is wide, and you can really pick any one you want. Just make sure that it's got a decent, wide, very stable base. It doesn't even have to be that heavy. It's mostly the base width that will matter. I'll leave a couple recommendations down below, but all these stands are basically going to function about the same. Now, one little hack that I have is for all these extra connectors that we all end up with that we don't really know what to do with if we're not using them. And that's gonna just be modular tackle boxes. You can find ones for cheap. I think these ones were like $6 a piece, and they just work perfectly for organizing your shit. They're cheap, they function well. It's hard to beat a product like that. You really don't need a crazy solution, and I've actually found that the clear plastic actually functions the best because I can see what's in there before I even open it. Now, I do have two honorable mentions that are not $200, but might be worth snagging if they do drop anywhere close to $200. And that's going to be the Edition XS from Headphone. That is just a phenomenal headphone. It is easily the best $300 and under headphone right now. I think they're listed at around about $280 regularly. If that gets anywhere near to the $200 mark, I would 100% recommend that. In fact, the trio that I would recommend personally that is just a super crazy value to me is the PC38X, the 6XX, and the Edition XS. The very last thing currently sits at $300. If it drops anywhere to $200, again, buy all day for sure. It's going to be the AEON AR5000. That was a really surprising headphone that really shook up the market in my opinion, especially coming out of the gate being the first headphone product launch from AEON, and they absolutely nailed it. It's not only good for music, but it's also very good for gaming, and it's still worth it at $300. But if this week it does happen to go on sale, I would 100% recommend stacking it. All right, guys, I want to send a huge thank you for watching this video. Definitely check those links out down below. If you have any recommendations for what's better than what I already recommended, please leave those in the comments down below as well. I'll be reading through those, and I'm sure everyone else will too. So we'd appreciate it. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.